Come step back in time.
Ahoy, fellow history nerds! Today, we're setting sail on a journey back to the Golden Age of Piracy. We'll be debunking some common myths and revealing the reality of what life was like for pirates during this era. So, grab your compass and let's embark on this historical adventure. The Golden Age of Piracy, a period that spanned the late 17th and early 18th centuries, has been romanticized in literature and pop culture. But what was it really like? Let's dive into the history books and find out. Imagine a world where law and order are often absent, where the high seas are the ultimate frontier, and where fortune and danger go hand in hand. This was the world of the pirates. They were not just the ruthless marauders as often depicted, but also skilled navigators, fearless warriors, and sometimes unlikely heroes. They lived by their own code, the Pirate Code, a set of rules that governed their conduct on the high seas. It was a life of freedom, but also of constant peril. From the tropical waters of the Caribbean to the distant shores of Madagascar, these pirates left an indelible mark on history.so. Are you ready to embark on this thrilling journey into the past? Let's set sail and explore the real stories behind the Golden Age of Piracy. One of the most enduring myths about pirates is that they buried their treasure. In reality, pirates spent their loot as fast as they got it on food, drink, and other pleasures. The idea of a pirate with a treasure map is more fiction than fact. But let's delve deeper into this fascinating myth. Why do we believe in the image of a pirate burying his treasure? Well, it's largely due to popular culture. Books, movies, and even video games have perpetuated this image. The idea of a hidden treasure chest marked by inks on a secret map is an enticing adventure that has captured our collective imagination. However, historical records tell a different story. Pirates led a hard and dangerous life. Their career was often short-lived, and the prospect of a long-term investment like buried treasure was far from their minds. Instead, they were more likely to spend their spoils on immediate gratification. Imagine being a pirate in the 17th century. You've just plundered a merchant ship and your pockets are full of gold and jewels. Would you bury it on a deserted island hoping to return one day? Or would you head to the nearest port and spend it on good food, strong drink, and other earthly pleasures? The latter seems more likely, doesn't it? The truth is, the life of a pirate was far from the romanticized image we have today. It was a life of survival, living from one moment to the next, with little thought for the future. So, the next time you read about a pirate's buried treasure, remember that it's more likely a product of our imagination than a historical fact. When we think of pirates, we often imagine a lawless crew, led by a fearsome captain who rules with an iron fist. But did you know that pirate ships were actually one of the earliest forms of democracy? That's right. Contrary to popular belief, pirate ships were not lawless. In fact, they had a system of democracy where the captain was elected by the crew and could be voted out at any time. This was a stark contrast to the strict hierarchy of the navy and merchant ships, where the captain's word was law and there was little room for dissent. On a pirate ship, if the crew felt that their captain was leading them astray or not acting in their best interests, they could simply vote him out. This kept the captain accountable and ensured that the crew's needs and interests were always prioritized. This democratic system extended to the division of loot as well. The spoils were divided equally among the crew, with the captain and other officers receiving only a slightly larger share. This ensured that everyone had a fair stake in the success of their ventures. Ahoy, mateys! Welcome back to our channel, where we debunk popular myths and bring you the truth behind the tales. Today, we're setting sail on the high seas to explore a myth that's been popularized by countless movies and books, the image of pirates making their captives walk the plank. Yes, it's a dramatic scene that we've all come to associate with pirates. But how much truth is there to this practice? Let's dive in. Historically, there's little evidence to support the idea that pirates made their captives walk the plank. It's a chilling image, isn't it? A blindfolded captive, hands tied, being forced to walk off a wooden plank into the shark-infested waters. But in reality, pirates had a different approach. They were more likely to maroon a captive on a deserted island. Yes, you heard it right. Instead of a dramatic walk off the plank, captives were left stranded on an uninhabited island, left to their own devices to survive. So the next time you watch a pirate movie and see someone walking the plank, remember, it's more Hollywood than history. Stay tuned for more myth-busting adventures. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting content. Until next time, keep exploring. Ahoy, mateys! Ever wondered if pirates had their own laws? Well, they did. They called them pirate codes. Let's dive into the fascinating world of pirate governance. First off, let's talk about the loot. Pirates loved their treasure, but how did they divide it? The pirate codes had clear rules. The captain and quartermaster got a double share, the master, boatswain, and gunner got a share and a half, and everyone else got one share. Fair, right? But what about disputes? Pirates couldn't exactly call a lawyer, could they? Well, they had their own way of settling disagreements. Disputes were often settled on shore, with the disputing pirates dueling it out. The pirate codes even had rules for duels. And injuries? Life at sea was dangerous, and pirates often got injured. But don't worry, they had a compensation system. Lose an eye, get 100 pieces of 8. Lose a hand, get 600. Lose both legs? That's worth 800 pieces of 8. Talk about workers' compensation. Breaking these rules was a serious offense. Punishments could be as severe as marooning or even death. So, next time you think about becoming a pirate, remember the pirate codes? When we think of pirates, we often imagine rugged men with eye patches and parrots on their shoulders. But did you know that some of the most feared pirates were women? Meet Anne Bonny, born in Ireland and known for her fiery red hair. She was a formidable pirate in the Caribbean during the early 18th century. Bonny was known for her fierce temper and ruthless nature, making her a force to be reckoned with. And then there was Mary Read, an Englishwoman who spent most of her early life disguised as a man. She later became a pirate and was known for her courage and skill in battle. These women defied the norms of their time, proving that they could be just as ruthless and feared as their male counterparts. They sailed the high seas, engaged in intense battles, and amassed treasures. These women defied the norms of their time, proving that they could be just as ruthless and feared as their male counterparts. They sailed the high seas, engaged in intense battles, and amassed treasures. So next time you think of pirates, remember the formidable women who left their mark on history. They were not just pirates. They were pioneers who challenged the status quo. Life at sea, particularly during the age of piracy, was far from the glamorous adventure often depicted in popular culture. It was a world away from the romanticized images of treasure chests, parrots, and walking the plank. Imagine waking up to the relentless rocking of the ship, the salty sea air filling your lungs. The wooden planks beneath you are your only comfort, and the constant creaking of the ship is your perpetual soundtrack. The ship, your home, is a small wooden world in the vast, unforgiving ocean. The diet was far from desirable. Hardtack, a type of dry biscuit, was a common staple. It was often infested with weevils and had to be soaked in brine to be edible. Fresh fruits and vegetables were a luxury, leading to many sailors suffering from scurvy, a disease caused by a deficiency of vitamin C. Disease was rampant. Close quarters and poor sanitation led to the spread of illnesses. Without proper medical care, a simple cut could lead to a deadly infection. Violence was a part of daily life. Disputes were often settled with the sword or the gun. The threat of mutiny was always present, and discipline was maintained through fear and the harsh lash of the whip. Despite these hardships, these men chose this life. They chose the freedom of the open sea over the restrictions of society. They chose a hard and often short life, but it was a life they chose. So the next time you imagine a pirate's life, remember the reality behind the romanticized image. Remember the hardships they endured and the choices they made. Life at sea was far from glamorous, but it was a life of freedom, adventure, and, above all, survival. So as we can see, the reality of the Golden Age of piracy was far different from the myths that have been passed down through generations. It was a time of lawlessness, yes, but also of democracy and equality unheard of in the society of the time. But let's delve deeper into this fascinating era. The Golden Age of piracy, spanning the late 17th and early 18th centuries, was not just about treasure hunts and swashbuckling adventures. It was a complex period in history, marked by socio-political changes and economic shifts. One of the most intriguing aspects of this era was the pirate code of conduct. Yes, you heard it right. Pirates, despite their lawless reputation, had a set of rules they adhered to. These codes, or articles, were democratic in nature, offering a stark contrast to the rigid hierarchies of the time. They included equal distribution of loot, compensation for injuries, and even a form of social security. Moreover, the pirate ships were a melting pot of cultures. They were home to outlaws, yes, but also to slaves seeking freedom, sailors tired of the Navy's harsh discipline, and individuals seeking a life away from societal norms. This diversity led to a unique blend of cultures, languages, and traditions on board. However, life at sea was not all about camaraderie and adventure. It was a harsh and dangerous existence, with the constant threat of disease, shipwreck, and of course, the gallows. The romanticized image of the carefree pirate is far from the truth. In conclusion, the Golden Age of piracy was a time of contradictions. It was an era of lawlessness, but also of democracy and equality. It was a time of violence, but also of cultural exchange and camaraderie. So, the next time you think of pirates, remember, there's more to their story than meets the eye. Before we wrap up, let's dive a little deeper into the life of one of the most notorious pirates of the Golden Age, Blackbeard. Known for his fearsome appearance, Blackbeard, whose real name was Edward Teach, terrorized the seas around the West Indies and along the eastern coast of the American colonies. Did you know that Blackbeard often went into battle with slow-burning fuses tucked under his hat? This created a cloud of smoke around his head, making him look even more terrifying. He was a master of psychological warfare, using fear to intimidate his enemies. But it wasn't all about fear and intimidation. Pirates like Blackbeard also had a democratic system on their ships, where the captain was elected by the crew and they all had a say in the decisions. This was quite progressive for the time and is a fascinating aspect of pirate life that is often overlooked. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the audacity of these pirates. They were outlaws, yes, but they were also explorers navigating uncharted waters. They were rebels, challenging the established powers of their time. And in their own way, they were pioneers of democracy. So, the next time you think of pirates, remember that there's more to their story than just treasure and parrots. They were a part of history that continues to fascinate us, and there's always more to learn. Thanks for joining us on this voyage into the Golden Age of piracy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to History Nerd for more fascinating insights